Hi there. My name is Alex Griffin, and I'm a solutions engineer here at Sauce Labs. Today, I'm going to take you through a technical overview of the tool Sauce Connect. Sauce Connect is a command line tool that you can use to create a TLS tunnel from your environment out to Sauce Labs. You do this when your application under test is accessing assets that aren't publicly facing. So this would be something like staging or a dev environment or even local host. So how do we get started? First, you would download the Sauce Connect client, and I'll show you where to do that here in just a moment. And once you have it downloaded, because it's a command line tool, you would open up command line and navigate to where you've downloaded it, and then just issue the command to start it. You pass in your username and your access key, and that will start up the tunnel. Also, you, just as a good practice, should include an identifier for the tunnel. So that will assign the tunnel a name, and then you can use that name in your automated tests so that you can tell the tunnels apart, and you don't have to constantly update the tunnel with maybe a tunnel ID that Sauce Labs assigns. So let's take a look on saucelabs.com. So here we are in the interface. When you click on the tunnels section over here, you're taken right to a page where you can download the Sauce Connect proxy. So in my case, I'm running on OS X, so I would download it from here. I would open up port 443 locally, and then I can just click on this section and it just copies this for me. And if we go into command line, I'm navigated to where I've downloaded Sauce Connect. I can paste in my username, my access code, and let's call this US West. So now when I start that tunnel, we can see in the background here, Sauce recognizes that I'm starting a TLS tunnel. It's allocating a secure VM for me, and that VM and Sauce Connect itself is going to manage all of our traffic from my environment out to Sauce Labs. So we can see Sauce Connect is now up. I can run my tests, and we got the little green arrow here saying that Sauce Connect is running. So now if I start an automated test and my assets inside of the automated test are on staging or dev, Sauce Labs can access those. Or if I'm doing a manual test, I can go through, start a live test inside of Sauce Labs and select the tunnel and be able to access those assets on maybe a different environment that I'm using locally here. So if I wanted to spin up like a Windows machine and use Edge to thumb through what's going on my application, I can do that now. So some best practices. Always, of course, use the latest version. Any important fixes or enhancements are going to be released as new versions come out, so always good to use the newest version. For a CI/CD setup, you'll want to use Sauce Connect in high availability mode, and there are some commands that you'll pass in with your command line entry that will tell Sauce Connect that you want to create maybe multiple tunnels and have them all going from your environment out to Sauce, and then Sauce will manage the traffic for you. I'll show what that looks like here in just a second. You can run Sauce Connect as a service or daemon, and you should always be aware of how Sauce Connect will interact with your network architecture and interface with proxies, firewalls, CDNs, things like that. So let's talk about high availability here. You can see on the right with your internal network, you have your sites under test, and then in this case, we have 3 Sauce Connect instances. They have reached out to Sauce Labs, and now we have 3 secure VM on Sauce Labs side managing the traffic for us. So as your application runs, as your test script runs, and needs assets under the sites under test, Sauce Connect will manage the traffic across these tunnels for us. So we don't have to do anything other than just set the tunnels up, name them in high availability, and SOS will handle all of the traffic for you. So what does it take to host SOS Connect? SOS Connect is relatively lightweight and needs a machine with at least 2 cores and 8 gigabytes of memory. One thing to note, if you are on a Linux machine, you may need to set your U limit a little higher if you are running many tests in parallel. We can see the tests in parallel are really what impacts the performance of SOS Connect here. For instance, if we're running 200 to 400 tests, we probably want an M4X large with 4 processors, 750 megabits of bandwidth, and at least 2 tunnels running. So how do we set up high availability? The tunnels must be co-located in the same network as the application under test. You pass in the flag no remove colliding tunnels. So what that will do is allow you to set up multiple tunnels using the same name. So in my case, I set up US West earlier. If I was setting up multiple US West tunnels in high availability, I would name them all US West and include this flag. Also, the shared tunnel flag allows you to start a tunnel with one user, and then other users can use that same tunnel. So for instance, if you are running tests in CI/CD, maybe from a Jenkins server, one user would start the tunnels for you, and then Jenkins would be able to use the same tunnel, or if you have Jenkins starting the tunnel for you, other users maybe from within the same network as the Jenkins machine would be able to use those same tunnels. So they don't have to spin up their own. Here are some assets for you. The new releases are always published to this link, but again, you can go into soslabs.com, select the tunnels page, and then download the newest client from there. And it can run on Linux, OS X, and Windows. That concludes our technical overview of the SOS Connect tool. If you have any questions, reach out to us at support@soslabs.com. Thank you.